Libra spirit is showing me that you're in a chapter where you're trying to balance what you give and what you receive, but the scales haven't been equal for a long time. You've been operating from a place of emotional logic, trying to be fair, trying to be patient, trying to understand everyone's perspective, but something inside you is finally saying, "What about me?" This reading is going to reveal exactly what your spirit is tired of, what your higher self is pushing you toward, and what you're finally ready to stop allowing. I'm Ira, and if you want your personal 2026 forecast, my 1-year detailed reading is open for $155. And before we start, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe so this message reaches those who need it. The first card opening your energy is Justice, which is your own card, Libra. And immediately it shows you've been trying to maintain balance in situations that were already lopsided. You've been the one giving clarity, the one compromising, the one adjusting, the one stepping back to keep things stable. But somewhere along the way, this left you feeling unseen or even taken for granted. Justice shows that you're stepping into a season where fairness finally returns. And it starts with you being fair to yourself first. You're no longer willing to bend until you break. The second layer of Justice reveals that something in your life has reached a point where the truth can no longer be ignored. You're seeing people clearly, seeing patterns clearly, seeing your own needs clearly. This is why certain connections or dynamics feel heavier. You can't pretend anymore. You're becoming aware of the emotional price you've paid just to maintain harmony. And this card says, the debt is no longer yours to carry. The third message from Justice highlights accountability. Someone around you who hasn't taken responsibility for their behavior is about to face consequences. Not because you punish them, but because the universe rearranges the situation in a way that exposes everything. You've been holding on to your composure for so long that people forgot you have limits, boundaries, and self-respect. Justice says they're about to remember. The fourth aspect of Justice is that your energy is recalibrating. You're stepping into clearer decision-making, stronger emotional balance, and a better sense of personal authority. You're beginning to understand that fairness doesn't mean self-sacrifice. It means protecting your peace with the same dedication you once protected others. Spirit is guiding you to stop over-explaining, stop compensating, and stop giving people power they haven't earned. The next card coming in is Four of Cups, a sign that you've been emotionally checked out in a situation. You've been present physically, but mentally and emotionally, you're somewhere else. Something has felt flat, repetitive, or draining, and you've been trying to convince yourself that you should stay engaged. But the truth is, your spirit is bored because it's outgrown the environment. This card shows emotional stagnation that you didn't create, but you've been trying to manage. The second layer of the Four of Cups shows that you've been missing a new opportunity because your attention has been stuck on something that's no longer fulfilling. It could be a relationship dynamic, a job pattern, a routine, or an emotional cycle. Spirit is saying, the reason you feel uninspired is because there is something better trying to enter your life, but you've been too drained to notice it. The third message is about emotional disengagement. You've been feeling like you're giving effort, but nothing changes. You've been trying to communicate, but nothing improves. You've been waiting for someone to match your energy, but they stay in the same old pattern. Four of Cups shows you're reaching a point where your energy will no longer tolerate what drains you. You're shifting from trying to fix everything to realizing you don't have to stay where you're unfulfilled. The fourth aspect of this card is opportunity disguised as disappointment. What didn't work out, what didn't unfold, what didn't improve, all of it was redirecting you towards something more aligned. Spirit is holding a new emotional chapter in front of you, but it can only enter once you stop settling for what keeps you numb. The next card stepping forward is Knight of Swords, bringing rapid movement, sharper clarity, and decisive change. You're no longer interested in overthinking. You want action, progress, and straight answers. There's an energy of cutting through confusion and moving toward what aligns with your goals. Someone sees you changing and may try to keep up, but they can only meet you at the level of their effort, not your expectation. The second layer of the Knight of Swords is pressure building. Internal pressure to break free from something restrictive, and external pressure from people who want you to stay predictable. This card shows you're reaching a point where your need for clarity outweighs your fear of conflict. You're done hesitating, you're done delaying, you're done holding back, you're stepping into fast decisions that reshape your path. The third message highlights communication. A conversation is coming that shifts everything. Something honest, direct, overdue. You either say something you've needed to say for months, or someone reveals something that changes your understanding of the situation. This communication releases emotional tension and gives you the mental freedom you've been craving. The fourth aspect of this card is momentum. Once you make a decision, everything moves quickly. The Knight of Swords shows a period where you break out of stagnation and step into forward motion. Your mind becomes clearer, your goals become stronger, and your direction becomes unmistakable. Spirit is giving you the boost you need to choose yourself. The next card coming forward is Queen of Pentacles, showing your return to stability, security, and grounded self-worth. You've been pouring into everyone else and leaving yourself last, but this card says your priorities are shifting. You're entering a phase where you take care of yourself with the same dedication you've given others. You're nurturing your finances, your home, your emotional health, and your long-term plans. The second layer of the Queen of Pentacles highlights emotional responsibility. You're realizing that you can't keep rescuing people who don't rescue themselves. You're learning to differentiate between compassion and enabling. Your energy is becoming more selective, your boundaries more structured, and your time more valuable. This is the beginning of long-term emotional and material stability. The third message from this card is about creating a life that feels safe and sustainable. You're drawn to routines that bring calm, people who bring consistency, and environments that bring peace. There's a strong focus on building something that lasts, not temporary comfort, but long-term security. You're planting seeds that grow into foundations. The fourth aspect is confidence. The Queen of Pentacles brings a quiet, grounded self-assurance. You stop seeking validation. You stop over-explaining. You stop compromising your worth. You stand firm in what you deserve, and because of that, your life begins to align more effortlessly. The next card coming in is Seven of Wands, showing you've been protecting your energy more fiercely than usual. You've been saying no more often. You've been stepping back from drama. You've been distancing yourself from people who drain you. This card shows you're not defensive. You're selective, and that's a powerful shift. The second layer reveals that you've been tested recently. Someone may have pushed your boundaries, questioned your actions, or expected more from you than you could give. Seven of Wands shows you're learning to stand your ground without guilt. You're learning that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. The third message is about resilience. You've overcome more than people realize. You've been fighting internal battles while keeping a composed exterior. This card validates your strength and shows that your persistence is paying off. You're holding your position not from fear, but from clarity. The fourth aspect of this card is spiritual elevation. You're rising above situations you used to tolerate. You're outgrowing old emotional triggers. You're becoming harder to manipulate and easier to align. Spirit says, you're no longer available for energy that disrupts your stability. The final card is the Sun, your breakthrough, your clarity, your renewal. Something in your life lights up, a realization, a decision, a change, and suddenly everything that felt heavy starts feeling doable. The Sun brings warmth, optimism, and a sense of relief. You're stepping into a clearer, lighter chapter. The second layer of the Sun shows emotional release. The heaviness lifts, the confusion clears, the exhaustion fades. You start to feel like yourself again, motivated, focused, balanced. This is the return of your natural Libra alignment. The third message is that a situation you've been struggling with finally makes sense. Something clicks, something aligns, something becomes obvious. And once this realization lands, you never go back to the old pattern again. The fourth aspect of the sun is joy, not the dramatic, overwhelming kind, but the steady, grounded happiness you can actually maintain. You're entering a season where life begins to feel emotionally safe and mentally clear. This is your turning point, your affirmation. I choose myself with clarity and confidence. What is aligned moves toward me, what is draining moves away, and my peace leads the way.